Hello everybody! Welcome back to this week's video. Today we are going to do something a little bit different. I received these acrylic markers by Arrtx and I want to use them in a different way today. Normally I work with watercolors on paper, but I am ready for a little bit of a switch up. So I got some supplies that I can try these markers on, and hopefully you will find this just as interesting as my regular content. So let's see what's in this box and let's see what shenanigans we can come up with today. All right, so like I said, Arrtx has kindly offered to send me this box, and while I'm not usually working with acrylic paint or markers, I have found the last set that they sent me quite helpful in adding some different texture to my watercolor paintings. So in this box, they will stand up like that, and if you have enough space you can put this to the side and just leave them in this box. I don't know yet what I'm gonna do, so I'm just gonna leave them in this box as I am working with it and to store them. You get some stickers with the corresponding numbers. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do with them, if you're supposed to put them maybe on the markers themselves. They are labeled on the back with their number, so I am not going to use these just yet until I figure out what I want to do with them. Maybe you could put them on the swatching card. That's an option, but for now I'm just gonna put it to the side. Right off the bat, they look a lot different than the last set that I received. The last set looked like this, and it also came with a brush tip, but there is an agitator in there, and so you have to shake these in order to get the best consistency. They say that these don't need to be shaken. There is no agitator to it, and I think they are ready to go right off the bat. So I think I'm gonna go grab a piece of paper so we can swatch them out and then see what kind of colors they are. I decided to use this marker paper by the company B Paper. It says marker on here. It's very slick surface, so I think this would work really well for these markers. The first color is white, so I'm not gonna use the white because you're not gonna be able to see it. So we're gonna start out with the second color. They only have numbers. They don't have any name to their colors. Neither did the other ones that I got from them. So if you want to label them, you can just reference the number that is on the back. So I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit so you can see a little bit better. And my swatches are not gonna be super big because we have 90 colors to go through, so I really just want to get them onto the paper. The first ones are not going to be very exciting because there's not much color to see. Very useless on white paper, these few first ones. Now we're getting into the yellows. And I'm just gonna swatch them as they come in the box. Ooh, that's a fun color. All right, that is the first row. Wow, that's a nice red. Generally, I'm really happy with the brush tip. I think it's very versatile. You can go thin strokes or thick, and it's really easy to color something in. Like that one too. All right, that was the last one. So at first glance, I can tell that they pretty much match the caps of the markers, those colors. And that's good because sometimes, you know, you're wondering, is the color that is on the cap actually the color that is in the marker? So I really like that. Obviously on this piece of paper, because it's so smooth and 4 markers, they went on really, really well. There is a little bit of paper coming through in some of them, but if I were to go over it one more time, it would give me complete coverage. So far, so good. I love a lot of these colors. I want to put them to the test on a different surface. And for that, I bought these wooden Easter eggs at Michael's, and I thought maybe this would be a good way to decorate these. Because these wooden eggs are a little bit more absorbent than specifically this kind of paper is, I want to see how well they absorb the color. And what I was thinking of starting with is covering one egg with just a color as a background, and then we can go over it with different colors and see if and how they show up. I think I want to start with this purple here. I want to give it a fair chance and just start with a color that is not very dark. And I would assume that it dries very quickly and is ready for the next layer immediately. Gosh, this feels very foreign to me. I have not done anything like this in a long time. So it's kind of fun for me to play around. it feels like it's pulling a lot of paint out of the marker, and I feel like it's gonna run out of paint very, very quickly. But I think it's just because what I'm working on is a very highly absorbent material. And that is just my feeling, and it's not actually the case. All right, that is one layer. I was thinking maybe we'll start a little bit easy and just do lines and squiggly lines and dots and things like that. I want to cover up some of those lines here, and let's see how well it covers up. Oh, it's almost like you can erase. That's cool. A good tip if you want to do something like this for yourself, if you create a design like this, something that has a little bit more symmetry to it, it's a lot easier to then space out your wiggly lines or any other design that comes after, because these are already more or less spaced out. On the wood, I do notice that you have to go over 2 or 3 times to get a good coverage. But I just think it's because it's such an absorbent substrate, and I want to be fair to the colors. But the nice thing is, because it soaks in so quickly, chances of you smudging it as you go around are slim. That's nice. This one you almost don't need to go over again. Very nice coverage. Also, what fun this would be as an activity if you have small children or grandchildren. It's so mess-free and satisfying for, short attention span. You can just let them have at it and decorate some Easter eggs with them. So cute. Wow, that was way too much fun. First impressions are as expected. These markers cover really well, super fun and easy to use, minimal stainage Like it doesn't leave a big mess behind. Perfect activity if you just want to do something easy and fun. I can continue with this, but I want to move on and I want to create some different textures. So I'm gonna do another one and see what we can come up with next. This was a great introduction to these markers. All right, for my second one, I want to try and blend two colors as my first layer, and I brought my makeup sponge out so I can maybe get some water and then blend these two colors together. Because this wood is absorbing the colors really quickly, I'm not sure how well this actually works on this. But, you know, we're here to have fun and to try something different. And it might need a couple of layers to achieve what I want to do. So on my first layer, I'm just going to put down the blue. Okay, let's see what happens. I need a little bit of water on the side. I don't have a dish, so I'm just gonna go put some water on here and then see what happens. Well, let's give it a fair chance, and I'm just gonna do the first layer. How about that? Wow, that actually works really well. You only need a little bit of water. So don't make your sponge too wet. In order to get a smooth transition, you have to not let it dry. So just keep that in mind if you want to try that. And if you go over it too quickly, then you will take off most of the paint again. So it's a little bit of getting used to, but I am pleasantly surprised. I did not think this would work so well. And I barely have any water on the sponge. I could probably do a better job down here. Let me add a little bit more of the blue. Looks a little bit like we scorched it, which is not what I wanted to go for. All right, and it's dry, so we can continue immediately. I want to put some black lines over this, and for that I am using the Posca pen, but only because this has a really sturdy tip and I can get more precise lines with this marker than with the brush tip. I might use the brush tip again to fill some lines in if I need to, but we'll see how we go. I know it doesn't look like a lot at the moment, but patience. Alright, this is what I have so far. Let's put some gold dots in these spaces. And for that, I'm gonna use the golden acrylic and my dotting tools. And I'm just gonna take it out of the cap. All right, I'm gonna prop this one up and let it dry upside down, and then we can finish it. All right, I decided while this one is drying off to the side, I want to continue because I don't want to lose momentum. So we're just gonna keep making a couple more. I took a little bit more time to cover the egg with the first layer of colors, and I got a lot less streakiness than from the first one. The first one I only did one layer, and you can see it is a little bit more streaky, and here I did at least 2 or 3 layers and it covered it really, really nicely. So for this next one, I want to do some flowers. So we're just gonna overlap a bunch of different flowers. I like this color a lot. I'm really impressed with this white marker. I didn't think it would cover as well as it does. Pleasantly surprised, I must say. This one is now dry and I can add a little bit more finishing dots to it. What I like about these markers is they're so opaque that if you make a mistake or if you want to correct something, it's so easy to just go over it, especially if it's a darker color. So it's easy to correct a mistake or something that doesn't look as good. I bought a new gold pen. I had these ones, the Pen Touch, and they are okay. I don't necessarily like the gold. The gold that you get is pretty much the gold that's on the outside of the pen. So I bought this 18 karat gold leafing pen by Krylon the other day, and I really like it. So I put it on this egg here. I already put a finish of the gloss Mod Podge over it, so that's why it's shiny. It is shiny, and you can see it in the other egg that I'm going to do in a moment. But I really like the gold. It does take a little bit of the shininess away when you put the gloss over it. So it's not as shiny, but I still like it. And it does blend in with the dots that I did on this one. Now that both of them have a gloss over it, so they don't look completely different, which, you know, is a bonus, I suppose. But let me show you what this looks like. I think I have to pump it. I shook it, and I'm gonna pump it just once, and I want to just continue adding those lines to make it a little bit more defined. I could probably do this over the luster too, but in this case now I decided not to do that. I was skeptical about these gold pens, but they really do deliver. And it has a chisel, so you can make them really thick, the lines, or make them somewhat thin, like I'm doing here. I really like it. It's nice and shiny. All right, here it is. I decided to round the corners a little bit so it looks a little bit softer, and it also blends in a little bit more with this one here. And I did end up smudging some of the gold in the process, but then I went over with the acrylic marker again and just covered it up, and that was super easy to do. And I have to say, because the caps and the ends match the color that is the actual marker, it was relatively easy to find the correct shade. And even if it wasn't, I was able to then just cover over it with the correct shade and just cover it up if I made a mistake. So I thought that was super helpful for me, and I just wanted to pass this information on to you. So I'm just gonna go quickly over this and seal it, and then I'm gonna put it to the side, and when it's dry, which is not gonna take very long, then I will show them to you. So as you can see, as I go over the gold with the sealant, it does dull a little bit. And I mean, if that's an issue for you, then you could probably go over it again on top of the sealant and just redefine or re-brighten up those lines. Like I said, for me, it's not such an issue. And also, you know, those are just for me. And I will hang them up for Easter. It's a fun little activity that I enjoyed doing. All right, here are all my eggs. They are ready. I probably will drill a hole in the top and put a little loop in it so I can hang them up when the time comes. But I'm really excited how these turned out. What a fun activity. And super easy to work with, like I said. There is links in the description box if you want to have a look at it. Currently in the US, the set of 90 markers runs at about $56. So I would say that is a fantastic price for these markers. You get such a wide range of colors, and they're just really fun and easy to work with. If you're looking for an activity that you can do that is mess-free with your smaller children, then I would say go for it. There's so many ways that you can use these markers. You can use them on rocks, you can use them on canvas. It works really well on the wood. It works fabulously on paper, canvas paper, you name it. All right, my friends, thank you very much for joining me in today's video. I hope you enjoyed this very different video. I certainly did. Thank you so much for Arrtx again for sending me these markers to test out. I am thoroughly impressed and very happy with them. And I look forward to using them in many, many more projects again. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay creative wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next week with a brand new video.